is what Jesus is telling us is when he says that you are gods. I love the term God. It just means a ruler. And I want to say this, is today we have to learn to rule or be ruled. We have to understand the purpose that we were put on this planet is to rule. And when Jesus made that statement, he was telling them, listen, you guys don't know who you are. You guys don't know how the Father created you and what he's calling you to do. And he says this in Psalm 82, the psalmist writes, God presides in the great assembly. He renders judgments among the gods. Let's read that together. God presides in the great assembly. He renders judgment among the gods. Now, most of us, if you were raised as a Christian, when we think about heaven, we think about God sitting on his throne. Jesus is sitting next to him, and he's just making judgments. But what scholars believe, and what this psalm teaches us, is that God actually has a divine assembly around him. Not that he needs help in his decision making, but there is actually a presence of divine beings that when God speaks, he gets counsel from. Does that shake your paradigm a little bit? It's a little different paradigm than what most people have. But when God says in Genesis 1:26, it says, then God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion. So God is speaking to divine assembly saying, guys, let's make man in our image. But then he goes on to say that he made man in his image. He made man in his image. And he said this, he said, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion. Everybody say dominion. So there is a call of God on the believers that we walk in this authority that God has given us to take dominion. And that doesn't mean, he could have said, let them be loving and kind and passive and sweet to everybody. But he said, no, let them take dominion. How many know most Christians haven't taken dominion yet? They haven't taken dominion over their own souls, over their own lives. We're floating downstream in our culture because Christians don't understand what it means to rise up and to rule, not to be ruled. How many know we're stepping into a season, if we don't rule, we're going to be ruled.